Hello, everybody. I'm so excited. Today, I have a special guest with me. She is $1 million a year earner, amazing and powerful leader in one of the network marketing companies. She's doing great, and we will hear a little bit more of her story and how she achieved her great success. But ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome Toni Vanschoyck to this interview. So, Toni, welcome, and thank you so much for finding a time to sit down with me today. So, tell us a little bit of your story. How did you start it? Why network marketing, and how your journey started?
Well, I've always been a hard worker. It's been a great ethic that, I learned from my dad, and he loved what he did. That was the first thing that I remember throughout my career. I started working when I was 15, and I was bussing tables, washing dishes. It was a lot of fun. But I love the restaurant industry, and I quickly stayed in that. Went to college, got a degree, was still in that industry, and decided to go into the management side of it. So I did that until I was in my early 30s. I started having, got married, started a family, and just realized that I could not juggle that kind of schedule anymore with, children. So I started my own small businesses, which were great. And I loved being an entrepreneur, but we were still putting in, peak times during the year, 100 hours a week, both me and my ex-husband that I own the business with. And we were just tired all the time. So one of our clients started in network marketing, and I was completely against it. I didn't know what I didn't know at the time, but she was a good client. She was a good friend. So I went and saw a presentation, and from that day forward, about 18 years ago, I was smitten. I didn't get it in the beginning, because I didn't realize, about the servant leadership, and I didn't realize what it really took to be successful in network marketing. And that is ultimately helping other people.
Right.
And so that took me about 9 years to figure out. The last 9 years have been absolutely wonderful. I've been in, 2 or 3 different companies in the last 9 years, and I finally hit that stride, and really understood what it took to be successful and the power of residual income.
Right. Well, this is awesome. So 18 years ago. Amazing. So you just mentioned that you were entrepreneur, you started your own business. So tell me a little bit how different is, because network marketing is also part of the entrepreneurship, because that's the way we view it. It's just a little bit different, but it still gives the person who has entrepreneurial bone in the body to try and test this amazing opportunity. So tell me how that was different running your own business that you had before the restaurant, and how is that different running your own business inside of network marketing?
So I think it really gives, people who have been in small businesses and own their own small businesses, you are it. You have to do everything. You have to, collect the accounts. You have to, we had a lawn service, so we had to buy the equipment. We had to hire the crews. We had to have insurance. We had to do the billing. We had to collect the billing. We had to, go to the bank, deposit it, pay employees. So the list goes on and on and on and on. The expense of it alone, running your own business, was extremely costly. There's a lot of money that goes into having your own small business. And we were still trading time for money, because if we weren't out there working, we didn't have income coming in. The difference between network marketing is that you build on what you build on day one. You build it, more on day 2, day 5, day 10, year 1, year 5, year 10, all the way until you're dead in your coffin. And you're still building that, and that residual income that you've already built in the past. That's the game changer. And you can take, where we were spending, 60, 70, 80, 90 hours a week, and you can cut your hours by a third and even make more money and help more people. So, I think that's really where the fundamental difference is. You're plugging into a system that's already there, created for you. There isn't a huge investment in the beginning. I truly believe that, no matter what, you're going to invest a little bit of money. You're going to have to invest a lot of time in this business. That's the difference. Where we were investing a lot of money and a lot of time with our small business.
So let me ask you a question. How much did you invest to start your own business? And you don't have to give me the exact number, but was it like in 6 figures and 7 figures? What was it?
No, it was, we just had started out with, the basic equipment. It was just me and, my ex-husband at the time that started it. And then one other person that worked for us part-time. But, this is 15 years ago, and a small commercial rider mower was $7,000 alone. Plus we had to have the trailer and the truck. It was probably at least $30,000 or $40,000 to get going.
Right. Well, I think that's one of the things that a lot of people don't realize, that for the average person to start, the average price of entry into the entrepreneurship today in the United States is $65,000. Mm-hmm. This is an average income, an average kind of like startup for small business. Inside of network marketing, all you have to invest is probably up to $1,000. Maybe if you join on the highest package, it's going to be $2,000. But for that amount of money, you get a lot of product that you can use, that you can sell, you can do whatever with that product. So the actual price to join is very, very minimal. But like you said, it's you will have to invest much more time in order to get things going, in order to build a team, in order to help them grow. So that's kind of like the trade-off here. But it definitely much smaller amount of investment that is necessary to have the enormous upside potentially. Because I think that when people join network marketing, they need to understand, because a lot of people come with the employee mindset, and then they think, because I just gonna, go do some hours and I'll get my income. But inside of network marketing, it doesn't work like that. In order to get to the certain level of income, you have to work longer hours at the beginning. Like Eric says, you're gonna be underpaid for short period of time, and then you're going to be fairly paid for actually you're going to be underpaid for a longer period of time, and then you're going to be paid the right amount very short time, and then you're going to be overpaid for a long time. Once you build that whole foundation, once you build a team, then the residual income going to start kicking in, and like you said, you're just going to continue to make more money and grow the team and help a lot of people along the way. So I think that's the beauty of network marketing. So tell us a little bit, how was your journey to the 7-figure? Because a lot of people think that, everybody who is making 7 figures a year somehow got lucky, somehow joined in the right time, in the right company, and enjoying the momentum, or they just got lucky. So tell us how lucky you got.
Well, I always believe that luck meets chance, but I have been prepping for this long before, I actually hit it. I mean, I just said, I've been, semi-serious for 18 years. I got really serious 9 years ago. And like Eric says, it takes about 7 years, before you learn a skilled craft. And even in network marketing, it's 10,000 hours. But the thing about it is that I work really hard. I've always had a very strong work ethic. This is not like anything else. I probably work harder at this because I love it so much than I did at my other, at my previous, business that I owned, because I hated it. It was just, did not like it at all. And then I love the restaurant industry, but, my first inclination was being a parent. So that, kind of led me where I am here. But at the same time, is that back in my journey when I first started, I was starting to do personal development. And I think that one thing people need to understand is that you have to invest in yourself to be better, not only for yourself, but for your business. And so does luck meet chance? Sure, it does. But you know what? I had already put in 18 years. I'm not saying that it takes people that long. I just am a slow learner for some. But you know what? Once you finally, it clicks. And this just happened with one of my amazing leaders. And I've known her for 9 years. We've been in other companies together. For some reason, 3 weeks ago, it just clicked and she got it. So, I think, again, you have to be ready and open to receive, what this business can do for you. And also you have to have a strong work ethic. I think, you have to get through the nose a lot more in this, and it's a lot more mental toughness than, having another business or working at a job.
Right. Yeah. And that's why I framed it, that how lucky you got, because a lot of people don't realize that it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of sweat equity. It's going to take a lot of, you will have to go through obstacles and challenges constantly. You being at the top means that you faced more no's than everybody else. You being at the top making 7 figures means that you had more no-shows than everybody else, but you were strong enough and persistent enough, working hard, and just going through all those challenges and becoming better along the way, learning the skills necessary, investing in your personal growth, so you can become a better leader and you can lead your team in a better way and help them to see. Because we never know, like you said with your friend, when it's gonna click, when that breakthrough gonna happen. Because for some people, if their timing is right, they're ready to run right now, because if they're hungry and they need money like oxygen, or something needs to change in their life right away, then they're gonna run immediately. But for some people, it's just gonna take time, and we never know how much. It can be a week, it can be a month, it can be 10 years. So that's why I think it's important to stay in touch with people and help them, to constantly remind them and maybe show what's happening in your business, how product is helping other people, and just stay in touch and consistently guide them through this journey. And when they're ready, then you help them join. But I think it's important to also realize that not everybody will join, and not everybody will succeed in network marketing, but anybody can. Not everybody will, but anybody can. So tell me, what I like asking this question, but what do you think, in your opinion, what makes one person decide and go through obstacles and challenges that they faced with? And why somebody just decides to settle for a mediocre or average life and just, it is what it is. I guess I'm not built for that, or my life is just okay, and they just accept that average part. So what do you think makes one person go through the firewall and another one to give up?
You know what? Well, I've seen it mostly happen. And again, refining everything that, is in network marketing, is that we do it better now, and we can do it in a shorter amount of time. But I think it depends on the person's hunger. It depends on their grit. It depends on their why too. So I think their why is major, especially for, a new consultant, or, rep coming in. You have to really uncover why they're doing this and what makes them get out of bed every morning, and, go talk to, people about their opportunity and their product. So I think that's one thing. I think the other thing has to do too is that, for a lot of people that I see, this is like their last choice. It's their last money that they have, or the last room that they have on their credit card, and they've got no choice but to make it work. Mm-hmm. And it has to do with drive. It has to do with, just what they really need to have a reason that they have to change their current circumstance. And, whatever that may be. And usually money is the number one factor. That's what I find. But then people find that, once they're in this for a while, that there are other reasons that just start, uncovering themselves.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a really good description, because people need to understand why they're doing this business in the first place. Because like you said, what wakes them up in the morning and what gets them going It's important because, and it's going to be different for a lot of different people. For somebody, it's just going to be to make a little bit extra money, and it might not be huge amounts that sometimes people think. Like some people don't need $10,000 in order to make it worth their time. Somebody just needs $500 extra to pay that credit card debt, and that's already great driver for them. And some people just have bigger goals, and that's okay. So I think it's important to realize that different people come to network marketing with different reasons, with different goals, and that's okay to accept everybody and meet them where they are. But you said also that hunger gonna make it the huge difference, because if people are hungry, they just gonna work a little harder. They just gonna go that extra mile and make things happen. So what do you think, what was the moment in your life, if you can remember? You said that you were tiptoeing it for 18 years, and then 9 years ago you made a decision. So do you remember what happened? What was, what changed? Why you decided, like, I'm going to go after it. I'm going to take it to the top.
You know, there was a fundamental shift. I remember, and I just decided, I just decided one day that this was the path that I was put here on this earth to do, that I wanted to help other people through the same journey, and that it was the most powerful business model out there where I could serve many. So this is so funny. We were living in Chicago at the time, and this was exactly 9 years ago, June. So it's a little over 9 years. But I remember exactly, and I remember who was on the phone with me. So, and it was just like, oh my gosh, this is going to work. I get it. I understand it now. So, you know how they say that shift happens? Well, it definitely happened that day on the phone, with someone that I was talking to. So it was just like this, it's hard to, it's like an epiphany. It was like an moment.
It's like, it's like Tony Robbins says that it takes a second to make a decision, but there is a journey that leads you to the decision that can be years and years and years, years of sacrifice, years of not being happy, and years of not knowing why you're kind of like crawling, and instead of flying, you're just living in a small fraction of your potential. But then that one split of a second, and when you make that decision, everything changes. So I guess our job as network marketing professionals is to help our people to stay in the game long enough so they get to that moment when it clicks for them, when it shifts something, when they make that decision. Because once they realize the gift that we have inside of network marketing, it's a game changer. Because like if we go back to what you were talking about, your business outside of network marketing, your entrepreneurial venture, it's like by being a business owner, it sounds fun and cool at the parties, but it's a hard work. You are the person who taking all the risks. You are the person working longer hours than anybody else. You are the one taking garbage. You are the one getting paid less. And you are the one that at the end of the day is not even necessarily doing what you love, what you kind of like started this business of doing, but you're doing all kinds of other things around it in order to support this business. Here inside of network marketing, we have that luxury because companies created all this opportunity. They took all that heavy lifting, and with the support, with all the product creation, with the product shipment, with the payment of commissions, and all the legal, all the accounting, everything is taken care of for us. So all we need to do is to bring our passion, to bring our hard work, to bring our leadership, to bring our desire and hunger to make things happen. So tell me a little bit about your family. How is that going? And because one of the things that a lot of people don't realize, that inside of network marketing, we have 77% of all distributors are women. So how is that different to be a woman running business inside of network marketing? And how was that different from being a woman running the business outside of network marketing?
So When I started in this industry, it was all me. You know, my husband now, he was just like, yeah, whatever. And it's really funny because, you know, he had been, you know, a good portion of our income for a long time. So the great thing about my family is that this is a family business now. So it's not just me. My husband joined in the business with me about 1.5 years ago. And we are just, I mean, we get along better now. We joke around more now. We get to spend more time together now. He did retire from his job 2.5 years ago. And I made him stay home and play Mr. Mom for a long time. And then the kids started getting older. And now we're all in business together. We travel together as a family. You know, my 10-year-old daughter gets up on stage and she speaks, and my 18-year-old, not so much. She's more behind the scenes, but I mean, my husband and I are just a force to be reckoned with. And it wasn't like that. It's only been like that recently. So, I mean, and I know in the beginning, especially when women get involved in network marketing, that, you know, their husbands can be a little bit of a stick in the mud. So I always encourage all women, you know, if it's your spouse, bring your spouse to an event, you know, get the education to them, let them see and understand, you know, what your business is all about. That's key. And then, you know what, you have to sit down and have a discussion with your family and say, I am all in, I am doing this. It's going to take some extra time away from the family, and, you know, just really set that expectation. But the difference is, you know, when I first started in this industry versus being a traditional business owner, people were like, why are you doing something like that? You've got a great business. And I would just tell them, and I'd just say, you know what, you guys, I said, we're not making ends meet, even though we're busy all the time. We have more month than money. And so that is the reason why I started in this in the first place, was to supplement our income. It just kind of grew, and it grew a little bit more every month, and then a little bit more every month, and then more, and then more. And then one day, you know, 5 years later, I'm looking at the paycheck and it's rivaled what we're bringing in from our small business. It didn't happen overnight. It takes time. But the thing about it is that when I closed my business and we had a buyer, we sold it, I sent in the announcement, or sent out an email to all of our customers. They could not believe why we were doing it, but it generated some interest. So, but it was almost like there was a huge weight taken off, you know, my shoulders, honestly, because it was backbreaking work.
Yeah, it's so interesting because sometimes when women or men join the business, it's not always that the spouse kind of like, hey, let me jump together with you and let's build it together. Sometimes it's just one person who is building more actively, and it's going to take time for a spouse to kind of like realize for them if it's for real, if you're serious, if it's something worth their time as well. And I think that one of the reasons that people say is like, oh, I have a non-supportive spouse. I think the reason why they're non-supportive because you haven't made a decision. You didn't go full out, and they're tired of seeing you crawl. They kind of like think that you're just wasting time and money and everything because they don't see any results. But if you take it seriously, if you treat it as a profession and you go after that, then they will see. It's like, oh, yeah, like you said, a little bit over time, it's going to build a little bit more income, and 5 years, 10 years, whatever it might be, you're going to see that it's becoming something very substantial. So then they might be ready to join you. And it's amazing when people like having that power couple, like you working with your husband, it's so much fun. And enjoying bringing your kids together on the journey. I think it's amazing. And I think that's the luxury of our profession, because it's really hard to do anywhere else. Where else would you be able to bring your kids and your husband and take it on a journey of building an empire and helping a lot of people along the way? Because we have that opportunity that a lot of people just don't realize how fun it is. And especially for a woman, being able to spend all the time with your family and with your kids. And I think it's just amazing, and it's super, super fun. So
it is.
So tell me, a lot of people who are watching and listening us today, they want what you have. They want to be powerful. They want to have fun with their spouse and building it together and being a strong, powerful couple. Bring their kids on their journey with them and help a lot of people and create a financial freedom for themselves. So what would be the advice that you give them?
You know what? I firmly feel that you have to have a short-term action plan, and you have to work that short-term action plan actually backwards. You've got to figure out how much time you can invest in this business. And that is really doing those income producing activities. And you need to make sure that your time and your income expectations are congruent. You can't go into this saying, I can only dedicate 2 to 3 hours a week and expect to make a $5,000 paycheck in 30 days. That's unrealistic. So I say, you know what, you want to get with your leader, or write it down on a piece of paper and figure out what that looks like to you. You've got to look at your calendar. Again, figure out where you're going to fit a business like this into your current life. And that's especially if you're a parent and you have a job, a part-time or a full-time job, that's going to be really important. But the other thing is that you have to decide, and you have to plug in, and you have to show up. The one thing that, still to this day, social media is an awesome tool when it's used right and it's used properly. But at the end of the day, it is really about the personal touch, and you have to be willing to talk to people. The one thing is, and you had mentioned this earlier, is that you're going to be told no a lot. Get comfortable with it. Get used to it. You're going to have to go outside of your comfort zone and talk to people, because if we're not using our mouth, we're not going to be making any money. So the main 3 points I guess I want to get to is, number 1, decide. Number 2, have an action plan. And number 3, you've got to figure out your time that you're going to invest.
Awesome. This is really good. So in order to wrap this thing up, if you want, I don't know, if you have a message that you want to share with the audience, or you want them to know something about you, or some encouragement, just take the time and go and say what do you think is going to be important for this audience to know.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank you for the opportunity. I mean, this has been on my bucket list for years. I've been following you and Eric. And so first of all, thank you for the opportunity. I'm extremely honored. My family is honored. They would be probably popping up in the background, but they're not with me today. The one thing that I want people to understand is that this is my love language. Serving other people is my love language. And that's why network marketing fits so well into my life. And, it's just something that this is my path. This is what I was put on earth to do. Number 1, have passion. Have unrelentless passion. If you're going to pursue network marketing, research companies, research leaders, find who is a right fit for you and what company is, and something that you love. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you have to have commitment and consistency. Those are 2 huge things that if you do not have in this business, you're going to spin your wheels. And I call it even, I am people's personal accountability butt kicker. So, they come to me when, they need to be held accountable, or when they're challenged, and they know that the one thing is that I firmly feel in not sugarcoating it. I call it the Oreo cookie technique. So I always ask people, how do you want me to hold you accountable if I see that there's areas that I could help you in? And I also make that an open door for them to come to me with an open conversation. Hey, Toni, have you ever thought about doing this? Because even brand new consultants or reps, they can even teach you something that you may not know. So the one thing is that, you have to be open, but that consistency and that commitment is huge. So again, I call it the rule of 3: passion, commitment, and consistency.
Love it. Love it. Passion, commitment, and consistency. These are actually key points that will help you to achieve all the success you're looking for, because those 3 are very, very important to have in your life and in your business. Thank you so much, Toni, for taking the time today. And I want to congratulate you again on your success. And I know that you're also going to be inducted in the $1 Million Hall of Fame, right?
Yes.
We just started this program at the women's event last year. So it was a lot of fun. We inducted a lot of $1 Million earning women at that event. So at the GoPro Recruiting Mastery in December, we're going to be doing this again. I think we're going to have pretty big group of $1 Million earners. It's so much fun. It's so much fun to celebrate your success. It's so much fun to see you guys walk the talk. And I think that a lot of people don't realize, because the reason why we kind of like bragging about $1 Million and 7-figure income, it's not about the money. It's about how many lives you were able to touch and change in order to get to that level of income, in order to get to that level of success. Because, and as well, also the person that you have to become on that journey, the personal growth that you have to have, it's just the commitment and the hard work and all the challenges that you have to overcome in order to get to the level of success. It's something to admire. It's something to applaud to. And I'm so grateful to have you leading the charts inside of our profession and showing all the women what is possible, because a lot of women, they just need some of that inspiration, and men as well. But I think women more than ever, they just need to be told one more time, hey, you have it in you. You can do it too. You can achieve anything you want in life and see what's possible. So thank you so much for leading the way. Thank you so much for showing women what is possible and being a great example. Thank you so much, Toni, for taking the time. And I cannot wait to see you in December and give you your award and celebrate you in front of thousands and thousands of people who will be attending the GoPro event. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.